Hello, everyone. I am your host, Joy, and you're listening to Romance or No-mance, where love blooms in unexpected places. This is an advice podcast about relationships, whether they be romantic, platonic, familial, or professional. This program is meant for inspiration and entertainment, and is not to be used as a replacement for therapy. If you are having a mental health emergency, please dial 911 or contact a healthcare professional. This program is PG-13, so please view at your own discretion. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Romance or No-mance. Today I'm with my classmate Tabbitha. Thank you so much for coming on.
Of course, I'm happy to be here.
All right, so last time we talked, you said that you were single, but it was complicated.
Yes. That situation honestly has gotten a lot more complex in the fact that it's one of those where you become kind of stagnant, where you don't really know what's going on, and you get to a point where you're like, do I really want to continue this? And I've gotten to the point where I want to progress in my life, and if that person's not going to progress with me, then it's time for myself to move on. We're clearly on two different roads.
So would you say that commitment is one of the more important aspects that you need here?
I definitely would say commitment is one of them, because I know that I want to have children before I'm 30 and I want to be married before I'm 30 and I'm 26. So, you give yourself those 4 years, and I've been saying that since I was 24. Every year that you spend with somebody that doesn't want to commit is just a year that you're basically wasting. It's definitely very interesting to balance those types of relationships where you kind of know within the first 3 months if that person's going to be continuing in your life or if they're just like a phase of your life. My boss has this thing where she calls it, this is just the season of my life that I'm in. And while I love that phrase, I don't want someone to just be my winter person. I don't want them to just be like, oh, I want to cuddle up with you. Like, no, I want you to be there for the year.
I get that. Yeah, you want someone who will be there for you and not just with you.
Exactly.
So just out of curiosity, how did you guys meet?
We met at a convention, and it was out of state because we're currently in the state of Texas, and it was in a different state where I'm originally from. And we're like, oh, wow, we both live in Houston. And so that's kind of how we connected. Their professional life, it takes them all over the world.
So would you say that it's like a long distance relationship then?
I could say that, which is funny because they also live like 30 minutes from me. It's long distance in the aspect that they're constantly in different time zones and bouncing from one place to the other, and they'll be in town for 2 days and then be gone.
So hypothetically, if you could travel with this person, do you think that the relationship would progress?
I definitely think it would. They've asked me on numerous occasions to go with them, and I've told them, I'm like, I have to work. You're not paying my bills, so therefore I have to go to work.
Right.
And I've even told them, because they've asked me multiple times recently, they're like, you should really come with me on one of these excursions. And I told them, I was like, if you give me like enough notice, you can just be like, hey, want to come to Chicago? Be like, you're leaving in 2 days. No, I cannot go to Chicago. And they are not a planner. They are fly by the seat of their pants kind of person, and I'm just not. I need structure in my life. I need to know what is going on for the week, and they just are not that person.
Would you say that you're at different points in your life, or just trying to find time around life for each other?
I think it's definitely that we're at different points in our life, and that definitely is where like the complication aspect comes into play. Because I know what I want to do, and a lot of the things that I want to do, they've already done. Because back when we reconnected, they were like, I would totally do those things again for you. And I'm like, I don't want you to do them for me. I want you to do them because you want to do them. Are they just saying that to appease me? Because they want me in their life, but they don't want to be in my life the way that I want them to be. It's a double-edged sword. When you sacrifice things in a relationship, you're sacrificing a piece of yourself for small things like eating waffles versus pancakes. That's a very small sacrifice. Some people are diehard waffle fans and some people are diehard pancake fans, where if you're sacrificing where to live is a very big sacrifice. You're uprooting your entire life to go be with another person. And there are some people that will just go, we'll meet in the middle and we'll both move. And there's other people that are so strong-willed that they're like, no, you have to come to me. I'm a people pleaser at heart, and it almost comes to my detriment. I've learned as I've gotten older that I can't be that person anymore, and those sacrifices just can't be made at this point.
Between the pros and cons of being with this person, would you say that one outweighs the other?
If I was to be 100% honest, because I've never really thought about it, like what the pros and the cons would be, I think the only pro is like stability and that I care about this person, but I think the cons would probably outweigh the pros. They're a private person as much as I'm a private person, and we don't intermingle our own lives. Because of that, there's always a lot of conflict between us. And so we just kind of avoid that and kind of do our own thing. And by doing that, we've kind of isolated ourselves and make it to where it's difficult.
You rate your friendship with this person?
On a scale of 1 to happy, I would probably say a 5 or a 6 because we could go very long periods of time without speaking. I've known this person since I was 19 and I'm now 26. So like that's a 7-year friendship. I've definitely seen them grow as a person, but I've also seen that they're very content with how their life is. And it makes you question, like, where do I fit in that puzzle? And so I definitely think that's where our friendship hits a wall. I'm not needed in their life, and they're not really needed in my life because our lives don't exactly cross.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm an introverted person, also kind of a private person, so friends are amazing people to have, but it's not like I need them with me 24/7. I care about my friends deeply, and I'll do whatever I can for them in person, but over text, I will literally ghost them for who knows how long, and I'm just not a texty person. And so it's just important to find a communication style that works for you.
Exactly. And I think with us, that's where the issue lies. I've known this person for 7 years, and I don't think I've ever once spoken to them on the phone. All of our communications are either in person or through text. Because this person travels for work, they're constantly gone. And so it's pretty much just me waiting for them to go, hey, like I would like to see you when they're in town. I could get a good morning text message at 2:00 in the afternoon because they're asleep till 2:00 in the afternoon. That's just how their schedule works. And that could be the only message I get that day is like, oh, good morning. And then just crickets. It's like they threw their phone across the universe as soon as they said that. Because I'm on my phone for work. And so I'll respond pretty quickly. They'll be like, oh, hi, good morning. Like, how's your day going? Like, are you just getting started? Have you been up working for a little bit? Like, what are you up to? And then it'll just be like, crick, 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 crick.
Basically, everyone I talk to say that communication is like the key to any relationship. So I think if you hit a snag there, I'm not sure how much further you guys can keep pushing it.
People get hung up on the communication aspect and forget a lot of the other aspects because you also have to think about love languages and things like that. As somebody whose love language is quality time but not physical touch, like I know a lot of people are very like handsy and things like that, and that just literally makes my skin crawl. The quality time aspect of it makes me feel like I'm burdening the person when in reality it's like I enjoy spending time with them, but that doesn't mean that I like touch.
I totally get that. For me, I don't even have to talk to that person, but just being in the same room.
With love language and things like that, quality time and physical touch are honestly, in my opinion, the ones that clash the most because I'm the same way. I can be in a room with somebody and not speak to them and feel like I've actually spent some like nice time with them. In reality, they're like, you were on your phone for 2 hours. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I was spending time with you. I was just hanging out. I don't have to speak to you to hang out with you. We're just here. We're vibing.
Love languages do play a big part, I think, in that how can I reach this person and touch them, not like a physical way, but like emotionally. I think being vulnerable is kind of the most difficult part of communication because if you're with the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with, you need to be vulnerable and they need to as well. They need to be at least open. If you close off communication, then that's kind of just closing the door, you know? I think some people that I have a hard time communicating with are people who are very physically touchy. They're usually extroverted, so I don't exactly blame them. That's just their way of doing things. But I think boundaries and communication kind of clash with each other because I feel like with communication, you're trying to reach out, and boundaries, you're kind of putting up a wall. So it's just kind of figuring out what's the best way to communicate so you can reach out without putting up walls.
I can definitely see your point in that. Last longer term relationship was with somebody where they were very much an extrovert. I'm an introvert. They always say like an extrovert is an introvert's best friend, but in reality, being friends with an extrovert is so exhausting.
It's draining.
It's the most exhausting thing you could ever do because they want you to be able to keep up with them and be in pace with them. And you're like, my battery died like 4 hours ago. Like I need to go home.
Is there something special that you're looking for specifically in a lifelong partner that maybe you just can't find with, say, friends or family?
I definitely think that it comes down to stability as someone who currently lives at home and Granted, it's not like we're going to end up on the street tomorrow, but there's people that like support me, but there is nothing that they could do to help me in my current situation. If I was like, hey, car broke down, can you help me? They're like, no, because they don't have the means to do so. And so like there's no stability. There's nobody that can catch you when you fall.
So they're there for moral support, but that's about it.
Yeah, they're there for moral support, spiritual support, but after that, you're on your own, bud. You need to figure it out. You're an adult. And it's like, I don't want to adult today.
So, with your experiences, what advice would you give to people who are also struggling with relationships?
I would definitely say that you have to be at peace with yourself and being alone before you can allow another person into your life, because what always ends up happening when you jump from relationship to relationship is you don't give yourself time to process anything. Until you're okay with being alone, then you won't be okay with being with another person. You have to be able to be happy by yourself before you can be happy with another person. It's like when people say a baby won't fix a relationship, but adding another person won't fix your current problems.
That makes a lot of sense. All right, I think that's all we have for today. So thank you again so much for joining me.
Of course.
Have a good one. Thank you, listeners, so much for your valuable time. This has been Joy on Romance or No-mance. Take care.